Oh, hello. Test, test. We good? You there? Okay. Hi. I've already done like some scripted videos. I've done live streaming, but I wanted to do like a mix. I wanted to like do like a reactionary video that gets edited down before it gets shown to anybody. So I saw this show, $1 Million Secret, and I think that could be good. I think I'll watch. The plan is to watch it until I'm like, that's the millionaire, place my bet, and skip to the end episode and see if I'm right. I'll put everybody in like a hierarchy tier of who I think the millionaire is, and then I will post that. Isn't this just a spectrum of results for typing in secret millionaire? Uh, we've got Barbie, which I already saw. We got this, which I think I was forced to watch when it came out. We got all this stuff that has nothing to do with each other, are what I searched for. But yet they're here. I guess they couldn't just be like, oh, here's the results you wanted. Here's the relevant results. No, I thought I'd give you, just in case we didn't have what you wanted, just in case, so I can keep you on Netflix.com. Please enjoy just the random assortment of things we have, please. Yeah. So without further ado, let's get into it. I was stopped in my tracks for content violations. Whoop. So we're going to summarize it. I thought from the description of the show that we were going to be trying to figure out who in a group of like this, however many people, one of them was like a millionaire, either for their whole life or recently became a millionaire, old money, new money, whatever. And I thought that was going to be the game. I thought we were going to get to play along. We do not get to play along. Okay, so everybody gets a box, and the money is in one of the boxes. And then you have to pretend like you don't have the money. So right off the bat, I'm telling people like just don't look in the box. Easy to pretend you don't have the money if you don't know if you have the money, right? Came here with no millions. Keep acting like that. You don't have no millions. And you won't really until you walk out the door with it. So just keep acting like that. But everybody's got like this animal play themed room. It's in this place called the Stag. Pretty sure I've seen this place on Zillow. Uh, frog, bull, rabbit, tiger, mouse. I said, oh, it's in the tiger room. Um, I was trying to take notes on who is here. I was trying to play the game. But then people started opening their box, and the cameraman, he was not interested in me being able to play the game. He was like, this is what's in their box, and this is the person who's opening the box, and you don't get to play along. And I said, Mr. Cameraman, did the director put you up to this? And he said, yes, the director put me up to this. I'm so sorry. And I said, it's okay, man. I understand we all got jobs to do. And then we moved on. Before we opened the boxes, a lady named Lauren is like, I hate lying. And I repeated myself. I said, so don't open the box. And she's like, I'm struggling with the morality of it. And yet that's the game. And then she opened her box and she had $1 million in it. And her box was a bull. And I said, for Wall Street, right? And she was like, yes. And I said, how are you talking to me right now? This was pre recorded. And she said, it's all a dream. Time is but an illusion. And I said, okay, thanks, Lauren. And so, because my original premise was to skip to the end and see if I was right about who the millionaire was, knowing for 100% that Lauren was the millionaire, the one with the money, I went ahead and took advantage of skipping to the end of the show. Lauren was no longer in the show. I don't know how she left. One lady, Sam, she's like, I'm going to try to figure out who the liar is. And I'm like, you're all liars. That's the game. And she's like, oh, yeah. And by the way, I'm a New York City cop. And I said, oh, that's not good for you, actually. And she said, I'm not telling any of these people that. Cops know things. We're really good at reading people. And I said, oh, sure. And then she got surprised multiple times. You wouldn't have guessed it. You wouldn't have known. But, she couldn't even talk back to me like Lauren did or the cameraman did because that's how bad she is at her job. So I started skipping to the last episode, and by that time they introduced a theme song. I thought it sounded like Arcane, but because I'd skipped to the last episode, it didn't seem earned at all. Maybe if you watch it, there's all this drama and stuff. You get to know everybody, the characters there, and you start to feeling some sort of way about all the people at the stag. But for me personally, I'd skipped to the end, and now I was just yelling at the screen, well, calmly stating at the screen that I didn't care about anybody. I didn't care about them. I didn't know them. And the editor, I was talking to the characters, I was talking to the editor, I was yelling, trying to reach the executive producer. And I was trying to get into it anyways. I was trying. I was like, let me see. Are they going to tell me who currently has the million? Because Lauren's not here. And right away, Kara's like, I think she's on to me. I got to try to send her home. I'm like, Kara, you've got the money. So there's this guy, Corey. He's talking about who he trusts and who he doesn't trust. And I'm like, dude, why are you trusting anybody? You're not supposed to be trusting anybody. And then Kara and Sydney are like, yeah, if one of us wins, we should split the money. And I was like, huh? And then the game immediately throws them into a team-based competition, which Kara throws because she wants Sydney out of the game because she had no intention of sharing that $1 million. And then Kara's like, "Oh my gosh, this game's so twisted. I threw a competition." I said, "Kara, you're twisted. Don't try to blame your moral failings on something else." And then they voted Sydney off the island just as Kara planned. And the thing is that okay, right now we're down to the last three. This is the height of like any game of Mafia. Everybody knows what they are, right? You got one person faking, and sometimes you got like the detective last, and they're both claiming to be the detective, and they're pointing fingers at each other, and you've got that third person who they've got to convince, right? That final vote, because everything else is so obvious. I don't think that would have been the case here exactly, but I think it could have been really interesting. And that's not what they did. Instead, they did like we're gonna switch around the items in the boxes. Two of you get a chance to switch boxes. For the third person doesn't get a chance to switch boxes, and then whoever has the money in the box at the end wins, which I think is lame as pickle on the sidewalk. Actually, pickle on the sidewalk is more exciting. It's really unfortunate because I did the math. You get a 1 in 3 chance, no matter what way you cut it, and it's almost random because you can't control what the other person does. So Kari did manage to swing it. She managed to win using a stratagem, but I don't even know if that was strategy or just chance. I didn't like it. My only fulfillment from this entire show was getting to the end and seeing the host be like, "Why are you acting shocked? You're a cop," at Sam. And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I know she couldn't tell who anybody was." Oh, 'cause Sam was on Car. She was like, "You're so sweet and kind." And Car was like, "Thanks." And after she threw that competition to get Sydney kicked out, Sam didn't have a clue, this lady. But she thought she did because she's a cop. That's what overconfidence will get you. You gotta watch out for that stuff. They'll bite you in the butt. It's hubris, what that is. The Greeks warned you about it. An ancient pitfall. Anyways, at the end of the day, I'm just really glad that I didn't spend 8 hours watching this show and instead only spent about half an hour skimming from the beginning to the end. And the whole project didn't turn out like I wanted to. And you know what? I'm still making a video about it. I also checked out The Mole because it's by like the same producer and the same company, and just to make sure that it does follow the same format as $1 Million Secret, where you do not get to play along because somebody's immediately like, should they trust me? No, they shouldn't. Evil laughter, and you're like, oh, okay, so we don't get to play along with that one either. So I don't know if I do get to play along with anything. If Love is Blind is something that I can analyze and play along with, somebody let me know. Let me know if there's a game show out there that I can play along with instead of just being like, and judging the players from a grandiose standpoint of being able to know information that they don't know. That's not what I want to do. So let me play along with the players, okay? And thanks for tuning in. Do, 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 do. Bop, bop. Okay, hopefully my mic was on this whole time. Hey, my mic was on this whole time. Sweet. Okay, thanks. Bye.